guys, I totally didn't think I was going to be able to film being on vacation, but all my family's at the beach, so I'm taking this time. Sorry about the background noise, the washer and dryer is running. There's nothing I can do about that, so okay. I wanted to make a video that was another story time video, but instead of just being like some crazy funny like plot twist story time, I wanted it to be like a story time with a purpose. And so this story time is going to be about the one guy that I've had through college that was literally just a like hookup buddy, like friends with benefit type guy, just because I think everyone in college will have at least one of those. So just as an example of like kind of the standard college like friends with benefits relationship, like I want to tell my story of like my situation, and like as I go throughout the story I'll like stop and like kind of explain like how that part of the story is like a typical hookup buddy type thing, or how a hookup buddy progresses. Like, how do you even get a hookup buddy? How do you find someone to be your friend with benefit? Like, how does that happen? How does that progress? How does that end? Etc. And as a quick disclaimer, because I know for a fact that at least a handful of some of his friends are going to watch this video, if they know it's about him specifically and they tell him and he watches this or what the fuck ever, this is not like a typical story time where it's like funny or like the guy was an asshole or like anything like that. Like, I have no negative feelings towards this guy. I'm not making this video to shit on him or to tell a negative story or anything like that. Like, this isn't a typical story time. Like, this is a learning lesson story time. So if he watches this, like, I don't have negative feelings towards him. I don't have any issues with him. Like, he's a really cool guy. He's nice. He's like fine, like whatever. I don't have an issue with him, but he was my one like friend with benefit throughout college so far. So unfortunately, the story's gonna have to be about him, you know? So starting off, how do you like meet a friends with benefit? Like, how does that even start? And like I've said in other videos, you meet people in college so randomly, like just any way that you can meet someone, you meet someone. And as an example of how fucking randomly you can meet someone, listen to how I met this fucking guy. So it was my freshman spring. So going into sophomore year, I needed a place to live, obviously, moving out of my dorm from freshman year. And I knew which of my friends I wanted to live with, which was the girl that I just lived with for an entire year in my roommate tag video. Check it out if you haven't watched it. So me and her knew that we wanted to live together. And my dad, being like a real estate guy, had found these like condo type places around campus that he was maybe going to purchase one that was for sale for me and my friend to live in for sophomore year and maybe for the rest of college. So we went to like tour this condo, and the one that was specifically for sale was a shithole, like not good enough to live in. Like, I would not want my dad to buy this place. I would not live in this place, whatever. But my dad was like, maybe you should knock on another person's door and just look at another one of the condos to see a better example, because just because that one's a shithole doesn't mean all of them are gonna be like that. So one of the apartments was playing music, so we knew, okay, at least someone's home in this one. So we knocked on the door and someone answers, and we go inside, and it's all guys. It's an apartment for all guys. And her and I both look like shit because we just been hanging out, and we just had thrown on like sweatpants and stuff to just run to go tour this condo real quick. Like, we had no makeup on, like sweaty, like gross ponytails, like did not look good at all. And I was instantly like, oh, of course it has to be a condo of all guys. Like, they're probably like, ugh, these girls are busted. Like, what the fuck do these bitches want, you know? So we walk inside, and I instantly noticed Greek letters everywhere, like stickers on laptops, like the flag on the wall, everywhere. And of course, with my fucking luck, of all motherfucking fraternities, it is the #1 top fraternity on FSU campus. Top fraternity, according to the tier system. Again, I don't give a shit about things like that. I don't hang around this frat. I've only been to 2 of this fraternity's parties ever. Like, I don't hang out with these people. Like, nothing against them. It's just not my type of people. Like, honestly, I'm just not cool enough for people like that. Let's be real. I was kind of like, fuck, like of all fraternities and of all guys, like these guys, no offense, are going to be the most judgmental, and we look like shit. Like, they probably are like dreading the fact that us busted ass bitches are here for some fucking reason. And I was just like, hey, can I just tour your condo? Like, I might live in one of these next year. And they were actually really nice. They were like, yeah, sure, check it out, whatever you want to look at, whatever. So we quickly toured the condo. Theirs was much nicer than the one that I had looked at. And so when I come back down the stairs to like thank them for showing it to me, whatever, me being the biggest fucking klutz dumbass ever, later, holy fuck, listen to what I do, hashtag mini embarrassing story time. I walk downstairs as I'm about to leave, about to make it out alive, about to escape the top tier fraternity apartment unscathed. I kick over one of the guy's cups of water he had sitting on the ground like while he was playing video games, and I was like, oh my god, like I spilled water everywhere, like all over the floor. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? So I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like I was so embarrassed. I was like, I'll clean it up, like don't worry about it. So I run to the kitchen to like grab paper towels to clean up my mess, and as I walk into the kitchen, there's an iPhone sitting on the counter, and I just thought it was my iPhone, so I grabbed it and slid it in my back pocket. And then one of the other guys was like, like, why are you taking my phone? Like, kind of joking around, but also kind of like, why did you just take my phone? And I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Like, I literally thought that was my phone. So in the span of 30 seconds, I've spilled water now all over the floor of their living room, have tried to clean it up, have jacked this guy's iPhone. I'm just like, I'm a fucking mess. Get me the fuck out of here. Like, I know the second I leave this apartment, these guys are gonna be like, this girl's a fucking mess. I returned the iPhone to his real owner, who is the guy that this whole story is about. We will name him Alex. I'm just like, I'm so sorry, whatever. All the guys were really cute, really nice for being in the fraternity they were in. Like, I'm sorry, like I'm just expecting all guys in this frat to be huge assholes. But they were pretty nice, and we just carried on with our day. We left, whatever. Me and my friend then go back to her apartment where we'd been hanging out before we went to go check out the condo, and I'm just scrolling through Facebook on my iPhone, and a picture of a girl I know pops up, and she's tagged in a photo with this random guy. Usually I don't give a fuck, a million photos are in my Facebook feed at one time. I would keep scrolling, but this guy looked familiar, and I was like, is this maybe the guy that we just saw at that apartment? Like, what the fuck is the chance of that you go to a random apartment, meet these random guys that you never knew existed until that moment, and then a picture of him pops up on my Facebook timeline? Like, what the fuck? So me, being the fucking creeper I am, I'm like, I'll just Facebook message him and ask him if it's him. Why? I don't know. I don't know what my purpose was for this. I don't know why I cared if it was him. I don't know, but I'm like that. I definitely am the kind of girl that will ask for guys' number first or Facebook message someone or something because I don't care. Like, fuck the rules of texting or fuck the rules of the guy should make the first move. Like, I'm an aggressive person. Like, if I want to fucking contact you, I'm going to contact you. It's 2016. So I just shot him a Facebook message and was like, hey, like, sorry if this is kind of random or weird, but I was just wondering if you are the guy whose apartment I toured today. And he was like, haha, yeah, that was me, whatever. We started Facebook messaging back and forth very casually, but I definitely was a little flirty. Like, I definitely was insinuating that I was interested, just in the sense that I definitely was attracted to him. I thought he was a really cute kid. He had been very nice and respectful when I was at his apartment, especially for being in the fraternity he was in. So we were Facebook messaging back and forth. And at one point, I'm pretty sure, I Facebook messaged him my number and he did not respond. So I was kind of like, okay, he's not interested, whatever. I don't really give a fuck. I don't even know him. Who cares? I literally forget about him, forget he exists, whatever. A few more weeks passed, and I guess I was just that interested because I Facebook messaged him again, I think, like asking him if he was interested in hanging out or something. Who the fuck knows? And he responded to that through text. So I get a text from a random number and it's him, and he's just like, hey, sorry, I forgot that you'd given me your number earlier. So I was like, oh, okay, like maybe he is about it. Like maybe he does want to hang out, whatever. Again, I had no like intentions with this. Like, I was not planning on liking this guy. I did not know if I wanted to sleep with this guy. Like, I didn't really know what I was doing. I just knew that I thought he was cute, and if he wanted to hang out, I would definitely be down to just like hang out with him. And at the time, since I was in my sorority, that was like a big factor. Like, honestly, I don't really know if guys like this would have been interested at all if I hadn't been in a sorority at the time. So then our casual Facebook messaging went to casual texting, and then we Snapchat sometimes, whatever, for a few weeks. There was definitely flirtation. It was definitely clear that we were attracted to each other, but there wasn't really a whole lot of like feelings involved, you know? Like, I never had feelings for this guy in the duration of this entire thing. It got to a point that I did have a little baby crush on him at one point, but I never had like feelings for him, you know? After a night out, him and I meet up at my dorm, and he slept over in my dorm. We did not even kiss. We literally just had like some drunk sleepover after a night out. He just crashed at my place. A few weeks after that, we met up out. Like we met at the same bar and it was Valentine's, which is like so fucking like funny and ironic. I don't know, but like everyone goes out in Tallahassee on Valentine's, whether you're single or not. Like there's great drink deals, like everyone dressed like red and pink, whatever. Like everything is fucking themed at FSU when it can be. We drank together, we hung out, it was really fun, we were drunk, whatever. We went home together, and that's when I knew like this is it. Like we're going to sleep together if that is what I want. And being drunk and definitely wanting to, because I was so attracted to him, we did hook up. Yes, technically on paper you can be like, why the fuck did she have sex with him? Only like the second time ever like meeting up with him, whatever, and she was drunk, whatever. But keep in mind that in college, people have one night stands, people have sex with people after only hanging out with them twice, people have sex with people the first time they meet them, people have sex after waiting a long period of time. It depends on the person, and in this situation, him and I both kind of knew like we don't have feelings for each other, we're attracted to each other, like we both think the other person is cool enough to be in contact, so like this is gonna be a hookup thing. Like we both just knew, like it was an unspoken rule. And I hadn't had a friends with benefit. I'd had the ultimate fuckboy who was a piece of shit, but I didn't have like a person that I could have sex with and know that I wasn't going to get super attached and it was gonna be casual, and like it was a nice enough, cool enough guy, and I was really attracted to him. So we hooked up. His dick was fucking huge. So if he's watching this, haha, now you know. After that night, I was basically expecting to never hear from him again. I was like, okay, like we hooked up. He's in this top tier fraternity. I was probably some conquest. I've now been conquered. Like I'm banking on never hearing from him again. And like, I was kind of like, that's kind of a bummer, but I didn't really care because like I said, I didn't have feelings for him. And that is something you should take into consideration, is that when it is a casual sex thing and you know going into it it's a casual sex thing, as I did, you have to be realistic to know that maybe they're not going to be interested in hooking up again, because a lot of guys do just want to hit it and quit it, because whereas girls are sluts if their number or body count is too high, guys are trying to raise their number as like much as possible. So I was already on his list of people he'd fucked. Like why would he want to fuck me again, you know? So I was banking on not hearing from him again, but he actually like did contact me again. We continued to stay in touch, and I was like, okay, like this guy does not seem like an asshole at all. We then Snapchat, texted, whatever, a little bit more for another couple weeks. We met up again. I slept over at his dorm again. We hooked up again. So then I was kind of under the impression that, okay, maybe this is going to be like a hookup thing now. Like that's how it's been progressing, that's how it's going to continue. No. This is the one part that's gonna make him seem like kind of an asshole, but I actually don't have bad feelings for him for this or anything. I just think it was kind of immature, but keep in mind this was freshman year, so like everyone freshman year was dumb as fuck. So after the second time we hooked up, I kind of stopped hearing from him, like being ghosted, and I was like, fuck that. Like really, like it's kind of disrespectful, but at the same time it was kind of what I expected, but I was kind of annoyed because at this point I had a kind of a baby crush on him. Not full-fledged feelings. I never had feelings for this guy ever, but I did have a tiny crush on him. I was just like really attracted to him and thought he had a really great dick, let's be honest. I ran into him at a bar like right before spring break started, and it was very obvious that he was ignoring me all fucking night. He did not want to be near me, he did not want to be talking to me, and in my head I was kind of like, what the fuck, like we've now had sex twice, we literally just hooked up 1 or 2 weeks ago, like what has changed where now you're literally being such a jackass that you can't even like say hi to me at the bar? Like I get it if you're over it, but like he was acting like he was almost mad at me, like did not want to have to interact with me. And so after getting drunk all night long, by the end of the night I had the balls to like kind of confront him. So I just went up to him and I was like, hey, like do you want to like get drinks with me, like just being casual? And he was like, yeah, sure, like let's take tequila shots. So I go to the bar to get the tequila shots. I get the shots, I turn around and he's gone, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I turn to this girl that's a mutual friend of him and I'm like, yo, have you seen where Alex went? And she was like, yeah, he kind of told me that he just like bailed on you, like on purpose. Like basically said something along the lines of that, like he just told me to get shots to like distract me so that he could like run away and not talk to me. I don't really know. I don't know for a fact that that's actually what he did. That's just what this girl told me, but I trusted this girl. Like I don't know why this girl would lie about that. So I was then pissed as fuck and also drunk, so my emotions were much more heightened, so I was much more angry than I would be if someone had told me this sober. So I go find him and he's talking to one of his friends, and me being so pissed and so drunk, I'm like, what the fuck is your problem? Like just come at him instantly like that. And he's like, whoa, what? Like, instantly super defensive. I think he was just trying to play it cool because he was in front of his friend and was definitely gonna play up the I'm gonna make this bitch look crazy because she's drunk card. So I was like, yeah, I just ran into blah, 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 our mutual friend, and she told me that you literally just bailed on me, like, on purpose, like, you don't want to fucking take the shot with me, whatever, like, called him the fuck out heavy, and he was just like, I didn't do that, I don't know why the fuck she would say that, like, I just came out here to talk to my friend, like, he was very defensive, very, like, I didn't do that, whatever. And then he just completely is like, it's very rude of you to not introduce yourself to my friend, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, why would I be introducing myself to your friend? Like, I don't give a fuck about your friend. Like, I was so drunk, so confused. Like, obviously, he was just trying to change the subject. I was just like, honestly, like, you're just being really weird. Like, if you're not interested, whatever, like, just fucking tell me. And at this point, like, I was on the verge of tears because I was so angry. And I'm someone that when I'm mad, like, really fucking mad, I just cry. And he literally just says to me, well, I heard that you've had sex with, like, 800 people, so... Like, what the fuck? If that's honestly the reason you're not interested anymore is because you've heard I've had sex with 800 people, aka you think I'm some huge slut, that was so hurtful to me because, one, he doesn't know any of my friends. I don't know any of his. Like I said, I did not associate with his fraternity. So there is not one single fucking person he knew that could have actually told that to him or, like, had heard that about me because everyone he knew didn't even know I existed. You know what I mean? Like, I did not associate with his friends or his fraternity. At this point in my life, at this fucking point in my life, I'd only had sex with 3 fucking people. Honestly, I think it was a cop-out. Like, I think he made up that lie in his head as an excuse to not talk to me anymore because obviously he was over it. Like, he fucked me twice, whatever, he was over it. So that was what hurt me the most, was just that, like, I genuinely believe that he, like, believed this huge, like, astronomical lie about me. All my friends, when I told them that, was like, what the fuck, that kid's a fucking dumbass, like, basically. So we all go off on spring break. I give him all of spring break, whatever. We come back from spring break. I shoot him a text. I have no fucking idea what I said to him, but I definitely said something along the lines of just asking him, like, are you done with me? Like, what the fuck was that 800 person comment about? Just trying to, like, figure out shit because I was so fucking confused. And he responded back to me, more fucking lies bullshit. He was like, honestly, there's nothing between us, so, like, I don't really see the point in, like, continuing this, which, like, yeah, there was nothing between us. Like, we didn't have feelings for each other. Like, that was never what it was, you know? He sent me another text being like, you've been blowing up my phone lately. Like, it's really annoying. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, we've been on spring break for an entire week. Like, I've purposefully not been talking to this kid because it's been spring break. We have not spoken, like, since that night at the bar. And now he's trying to say that, like, I've been blowing up his phone. Like, that made me even more mad. I was like, how the fuck can he, like, make up these lies about me? Especially a lie like that where, like, he knows it's not true. Like, he has to fucking know, obviously, I have not been texting you. So at this point, I was just like, I was stooped. I was like, what? I don't even get this. This makes no sense. 6 whole months passed. Like, we did not talk. It was, like, over as fuck. I did not give a fuck. Like, I don't know. It was just awkward and weird, and I was so confused because his reasoning for, like, not wanting to talk to me anymore or, like, hang out with me or anything was all these fucking lies. And I was just like, ain't nobody got time for that shit. But with hookups in college and boys never dying after 6 months or whatever, and we were both over it, he just kind of crawled back out of the woodwork and it just, like, magically became a thing again. I don't know how. I will be the first to admit that I'm sure at some point I drunkenly hit him up. I don't fucking know what ensued that made him and I start hooking up again. But then for, like, part of my sophomore year, like the year that just ended, mainly through fall, I have not hooked up with this kid in a very long time, and I know that I'm not going to hook up with him again. That's mainly why I'm telling this story, because it's no longer an ongoing thing. But then for, like, sophomore fall, after we'd had the whole summer apart and all the drama from freshman spring was over, we kind of started to, like, late night hit each other up again, and it was kind of like a booty call thing, except, like, I would sleep over the majority of the time, and there was a mutual respect. Like, it was really kind of like him and I were friendly with each other, and when I would go over, we would definitely, like, talk a little bit and, like, hang out before we hooked up. And like I said, like, I did sleep over, like, 90% of the time, so I did not feel like a booty call the way I felt like with the ultimate fuckboy. It really was just, like, an understood, like, we're just hookup buddies type thing. That was basically it. Him and I just continued to hook up through sophomore fall, and then that was it. I don't know. We were both just kind of over it. I haven't heard from him. He hasn't heard from me in a very long period of time. I'm not going to contact him again. I'm almost positive he's not gonna contact me again. That's the thing also with hookup buddies, is when it's over, it's just over. There's not some like final conversation of like, is this over? Like, you know, that is way too much to have a conversation about it when it's nothing real, you know? So it just kind of fizzles out. So if you are a friend with benefit or you do have a hookup buddy, don't be hyping things up to be like, do we need to have a conversation about what this is? Do we need to talk about the fact this is hookup buddies? When it's over, do we need to talk about the fact that our hookup buddy thing is over? Like, no, because then that implies that like one person has feelings or something if you care enough to fucking talk about it. So if you're at that point with someone you're hooking up with that you feel like you need to talk about it, maybe you should evaluate how casual it is, because I never wanted to talk to this guy about what it was. That was just a waste of my breath and time, and frankly I didn't care because I did not have feelings for him, and he clearly did not have feelings for me. So that was my like one casual hookup buddy. There was that little piece of drama freshman spring, but we were both freshmen. I definitely at the time thought he was a huge fucking asshole for pulling that shit over on me, and now technically on paper, like reiterating it, it was definitely an asshole thing to do. Like, it was a douchebag move. But also being freshmen and being so naive, like anyone as a freshman like doesn't know what they're doing. Like, I'm sure he was just like, whatever, I'm over this, I don't want to hook up with this girl again, I don't know what to do to not have to hook up with her again, like I'm just gonna pull something out of my ass and tell her that I heard she's a slut and then it'll be over with. Like, he's a boy. Boys are fucking dumb. Like, in his puny boy brain, he was probably like, yeah, that'll work, that'll work. No, that doesn't work. That's offensive and rude and like the fucking biggest dick move. And the fact that you called me out in public at a bar when I was drunk at like 2 a.m. before closing, right before spring break, with your guy friend with you, like, what the fuck, dude? Like, come on. Like, there was way better ways to go about it, but we were freshmen, and at the same time I was a dumb freshman that cried at the bar in front of him and his friend, made a huge deal about it. It was super dramatic. Like, it was embarrassing on my end and it was douchey on his end, so everyone kind of lost. But it did end up like working out that we got over that and we did just become like normal like friends with benefits. Moral of the story, when it comes to like friends with benefits, hookup buddies, whatever, in college, meeting them is random as fuck. You're just gonna meet a guy somehow, some way that you get in touch with. Usually it's gonna be based off of attraction. Usually you can decipher like guys that you're gonna be friends with, guys that you're gonna wanna like date and like have feelings for, and guys that you're just really attracted to and you wanna know what their dick looks like, you know? And this guy fell into that category. Like, I was just attracted to him. I knew that I would never be able to date him. I would never have real feelings for him, but I wanted to know what his dick looked like, okay? And I found out it was great. So also, don't get feelings invested if it's supposed to be a friends with benefits thing. Don't be dumb enough to actually grow feelings for the person. And if you do, you either need to walk away to save yourself heartbreak or be able to talk to the person about it, because hey, maybe they grew feelings for you too, but not likely. At least not in this situation. Like, I knew for a fact that this top tier frat asshole was not gonna ever have real feelings for me, but that was totally fine because I knew I wasn't gonna have feelings for him either. And then when it comes to it ending, it's just gonna fizzle out. So if you have this hookup person and you hit them up and they don't respond to you, and then you don't hear from them for like an extended period of time, just kind of accept that it's over. Like, if it's sad because that's where you were getting that dick from, like, you're gonna find other guys. Maybe you'll even get into a relationship, which is obviously even better than just having a hookup buddy. So just take it day by day. Like, losing a hookup buddy, like a friends with benefits situation ending is not sad. It's not the end of the world. Like, when I realized like, oh, this isn't gonna be a thing anymore, like whatever, 6 fucking months ago, like I've said, I had not hooked up with him in a very long time. I was not sad. I was just kind of like, oh, okay, well, peace. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed this story time by example. I've never done one of these before, but hopefully it was like kind of helpful or interesting to learn more about college and college relationships and dynamics and things like that. Feel free to keep up with me on social media. I will link my usernames to my Snapchat and my Instagram down below. I post on both of them very frequently, so if you like me enough to be kept up with my day-to-day life, feel free to follow me. Also, feel free to subscribe. I post about 2 to 3 videos a week. Thanks as always for watching. Bye, guys.